By way of the great tabligh efforts which he led, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was freeing people throughout the world from the grasp of spiritual darkness. But also by way of the greatness granted to him by God the Almighty. Not only was Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu spiritually freeing people, but he would also lead the charge in physically freeing all those Muslims who were facing oppression in Kashmir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome to another episode of Ahmadiyyat, Roots to Branches.
I came merely to sow the seed. That seed has been sown by my hands. It will now grow and blossom forth, and none dare impede its growth. Ahmadiyyat, the true Islam, is a flourishing tree. But this is not just any tree. This is the tree, the seed of which was sown under the guidance of Allah Himself through the hands of Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian alayhi salatu wasalam, the promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi. Its miraculous growth in the midst of difficult and seemingly impossible circumstances is indeed a tale that is bound to increase one's faith, as if this is the tree that grew from concrete. Presently, under the guidance and leadership of our beloved Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah strengthen his hands, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is now present and propagating the peaceful message of Islam in over 200 countries around the world. The Jamaat has built over 15,000 mosques, over 30 hospitals, and over 500 schools. It has translated the Holy Quran into over 70 languages. This is but merely a glimpse at the progress and a fraction of the achievements of Ahmadiyyat in only one single century. But this is Ahmadiyyat at present. Let us now take a step back and witness exactly how Ahmadiyyat, by the sheer grace of Allah, reached this point and attained these heights. For history is not only a means to understand and appreciate the present, but also a means to envision the future. Follow us on this journey.
On today's episode of Roots to Branches, we will continue to take a look at the events which began in 1931, when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu made extensive efforts in ensuring that the people of Kashmir, specifically the Muslims, were granted their rights and were saved from the grave oppression which they were being made to face. We will then see how Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu essentially united all of India in order to complete this task, and we will see the great efforts made by a committee which was specifically dedicated to this task as well. And in the end, we will see how Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was able to accomplish the goal he had set out for. But first, let us begin by taking a look at the Jamaat's encounter with a foreign minister to Kashmir.
As the plight of Muslims in Kashmir continued, and they suffered greatly at the hands of the Maharaja, the foreign minister of Kashmir, whose name was Mr. Wakefield, promised to voice their concerns to the Maharaja of the time in an attempt to establish justice for those who were suffering. Now, although this was an honorable and commendable act on the part of Mr. Wakefield, who was a good man and who was known to genuinely sympathize with the Muslim population, Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu urged and warned the Muslims of the time to not rely on simple promises and to expect sudden changes. After all, Mr. Wakefield was working under the Hindu government, the same government that not too long ago launched a very severe campaign to reconvert all non-Hindus back to Hinduism. And so Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu suggested and guided the Muslims and said that the best way to tackle this issue was to unify, was to unite, and to put pressure on the Hindu government and let it be known that the Muslims of the world would not tolerate the persecution of their brothers in Kashmir.
We have already taken a look in the way in which Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu became the head of the All India Kashmir Committee. And what's interesting is that this was not only the opinion of a group of people or a few number of people. Rather, it seemed that all of India believed very strongly that it was Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu who could lead this charge. Now, the very famous Allama Iqbal himself writes that, when these events in Kashmir were coming about and this great oppression was coming to light, many leaders, came together and they were sitting and they were trying to come up with a scheme or devise plans and ways to help the Muslims in Kashmir. And as we were sitting and coming up with these plans, the only person who we could think of to lead this charge was such a man who had so many loyal followers with him who would also come and help this cause. And this, of course, was none other than Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. And it was under his auspices that the All India Kashmir Committee began working. And as a result of their work in trying to help this situation in Kashmir, a great enthusiasm was spreading throughout all of India. Now, keeping in line with this committee's work, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu made a proposal that on August 14th, 1931, that day be recognized as Yom-e-Kashmir or Kashmir Day. And the reason he gave for this was that we in India must understand the injustices which are taking place in Kashmir. He said that the people in Kashmir, especially the Muslims, are going through some unimaginable times and some of their most basic rights are being taken away from them. And in order to bring light to this situation and help those people become free from this oppression, we should recognize this day as Yom-e-Kashmir. Hence, that day, August 14th, 1931, was recognized as Yom-e-Kashmir. And on that day, many gatherings, many jalsas were held in which light was put on this situation and plans were being made to help that situation and help the Muslims become free from the oppression which they were facing. The most amazing part of this all was that it was being headed and led by none other than Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. Now, a portion of the prophecy of Muslim Maud, which was revealed to the promised Messiah ﷺ, read that he will be the means of procuring the release of all those held in bondage. So in this way, by working towards the freedom of all those oppressed in Kashmir, he yet again proved this part of the prophecy to be true as well.
When finally Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Radiyallahu Anhu addressed the entire Jamaat a few months into the work in the early 1930s, he said something that would change the entire direction of the Kashmir Committee and would bring all of the projects and efforts that were being made up to speed with his personal goals, which were, of course, founded in the well-being of the Muslims of Kashmir. He said to the youth of the Jamaat, he said, look, make a grand committee, and through this committee, start planning and vicariously working toward the rights movement, the boundary commissions, everything. And he said that, why do you guys not do this when the Hindus are making committees? It is not illegal. So finally, in these days, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah Sahib, who was not an Ahmadi, but a very major authority within the Kashmir Committee, he wrote to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Radiyallahu Anhu. He said, I'm planning a large-scale conference, an all-India Kashmir conference in September. Now, it was planned for September, and he said that I would want you to please write to me and advise as the dates come up what steps should be taken, what I should do, and I need your special prayers. And it's amazing to note that Sajid Sahib, this is a non-Ahmadi a person in the world of politics writing to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Radiyallahu Anhu for prayers, right. For guidance. And near the end of the letter, he says, in fact, if you can please write to me in the response to this letter, everything that needs to be done. He says, I will do whatever it is that you say. I need your guidance. We need your guidance right now. Kashmir needs your guidance. And then he says, please, whatever you do, make sure that you continue praying. Then he says, I need you to come for this conference as well in those days. In fact, then he says, later on in the letter, he says, just come quite early for the conference and help me plan it as well. So you see the heavy reliance that the key players had on the amazing accolade and wisdom and scholastic fortitude of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Radiyallahu Anhu. And when you have a master of sorts, a person who of such profound genius, then obviously you want him to be at the forefront of things. And what's amazing to note is that when the conference was held, as a Khalifa Masih II radiallahu anhu, his farsightedness, his acumen, the archaic nature of the fruit that his thoughts would bring about was amazing.
Absolutely correct, Sabat Sahib. When Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he appointed Hazrat Zain al-Abidin Waliullah Sahib to go to the conference, he wrote him a letter. And in that letter he said that unless you diminish all your personal desires and the love of your country is so strong in your heart that all you have in your heart is the desire to protect your country, then will you succeed. You know, he completely didn't say, you know, go there for your personal objective. He didn't say anything. He said, you should have only the love of your country in your heart. And so when Hazrat Zain al-Abidin Sahib radiallahu ta'ala anhu actually went, at that time the Indian government wasn't very happy. They said, why are they doing this? They made Hazrat Zain al-Abidin Sahib radiallahu ta'ala anhu actually sign a document saying that they would be responsible for the fact that no riots, nothing would happen that would diminish the peace in the land. He was so adamant at the fact that the Khalifatul Masih sent me that he signed the papers right there because he knew that the prayers of the Khalifatul Masih were there. The program starts from the 15th to the 19th of October, and we see that the program goes so successfully that Hazrat Zain al-Abidin Sahib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he goes in front of the crowd and he says that we are successful. All the objectives that we have brought forth have been accepted. There was so much excitement and happiness among the crowd there that they started to, you know, sing, or they started to chant slogans praising Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu. This was the prayers of the Khalifa of the time, that he sends his representative as his hand. He says, go forward and do this. And it goes exactly as he prayed, exactly as he tells him. But what's more amazing is, again, if we say, we being the lovers of the Khalifatul Masih, we say something, it shows that we're their lover. But when we look at the testament of those who had no personal connection to the Khalifatul Masih and how much praise they had in their hearts for the Khalifatul Masih, it's astounding.
You're completely right about the fact that us being the ardent lovers of the Khalifatul Masih, sometimes someone from the outside can say that, you know what, you guys are fanatics, or, you know, you have a personal relationship with him and so he is your benefactor. But these are non-Ahmadi politicians. These are authorities that have no spiritual connection, apparently. Yet, what does Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah Sahib, the person who had originally written to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, say in his letter of gratitude to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II? When I read this letter, at first, when I got to the bottom of it, I had to check the name again and see whether Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah Sahib was an Ahmadi. Then I went back and checked again. Then I read the letter again. And I myself was so amazed, because he writes with so much veneration and love that I think that have I ever even written to Khalifatul Masih in the words that he has used. He says, my tongue has not the strength, nor my pen the vigor, to put down on paper the heavy debt that I myself and the entire Kashmir Committee and all of the Muslims of Kashmir, and indeed the world now, owe to you. And he says, for God's sake, whatever you do, never stop praying for me. That this is the you know, we use the term in Urdu, divanagi, the infatuation, the utter veneration and venerance and love for these individuals, that when these people see that an individual like Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, who is so persecuted, a community so persecuted, puts their mind and their prayers and their hearts towards something, that thing which the entire Muslim community of the country was unable to achieve, Allah Ta'ala Himself puts His hand down and allows this small, humble community, this persecuted community, this weak community, to achieve at such a high level and with such huge, thoroughbred strides. Then at the end, he says in this letter that I am your tabedar. And it's amazing, that literally says that the one who is subservient to you, the one who obeys your every command. So in working with Hazrat Khalifa Masih II, these individuals were so giddy with jubilation that he even writes in one of the letters of gratitude, he says that when we got back to our boat was lit up. And he says that the style in which your representatives spoke, they made the entire conference. And that every other scholar and authority paled in comparison to simply, let alone Hazrat Khalifa Masih II, his representatives. And so by the grace of Allah, so much was achieved, so much was seen as a result of this. And not only was the Boundary Commission successful, not only was the reconciliation between the Maharaja and the Muslims achieved, but also the reconciliation between the Hindus and the Muslims, and the rights that were owed to the Muslims were also by the grace of Allah given to them as a result of Hazrat Khalifa Masih II radiallahu anhu's profound insight and wisdom.
The incredible services rendered by the All India Kashmir Committee are impossible to overlook. Under the blessed guidance of Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu himself, this committee led a campaign against a tyrant government and re-established order and justice and granted Muslims of Kashmir their civil rights. But what is most notable about this entire situation is how Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu unified the Muslims, Muslims who would have otherwise never wished to be seen on the same platform. Khwaja Hasan Nizami Sahib praised Huzur, may Allah be pleased with him, and wrote that indeed there were Muslims who sought to create divides within this committee. And indeed there were Muslims who convinced and sort of urged other Muslims not to support this committee simply because their president was the Khalifa of the Ahmadi Muslim Jamaat. And in praising Huzur, may Allah be pleased with him, he wrote that he was patient and he continued to work diligently in order to keep the Muslims unified for as long as he possibly could. And the fruits of his labor were that his objectives for this committee were brought to fruition, and those Muslims of Kashmir who had been suffering for nearly a century were finally set free.
After so many years, so many individuals, so many hours that were spent in the way of all of these projects, finally, by the grace of Allah, having achieved all of the objectives and even more along the way, Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu anhu saw that the committees that had been formed and that the organizations, the structure, it had become truly self-sufficient. He felt that he had sufficiently advised, counseled, guided, and even trained the senior members, and that these parties were now ready to move forward without him. Secondly, he knew that they had become not only self-sufficient, but that the goals had been achieved. And so, being the Khalifatul Masih, he had the entire world under his belt. As such, he decided to remove himself from active engagement in these committees, although he still kept in contact with them by virtue of correspondence of letters and whatnot. And he decided that now new fronts had to be discovered, new problems had to be tackled. And yet this was not the only reason that he moved out. Of course, being Khalifatul Masih, every step you take has a multifaceted and a multidimensional meaning.
Sabat Sahib, the Khalifa is a spiritual leader. And the job of the spiritual leader or the Khalifa is to show the people the way of God. Now, when Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu started the Kashmir Committee, his main objective was to reconcile the people of Kashmir and Jammu. During the course of this committee, Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu gained great traction, and this committee, in its every objective, became successful. After the goals were achieved, Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw that the members of the committee were no longer working towards the safeguarding of the religion of Islam, but wanted to push their own political agendas. So Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu decided that he no longer would be part of the committee. When he was leaving the committee, he put Allama Iqbal Sahib in charge. Although Allama Iqbal Sahib and the other members of the committee were of great influence and had great respect in the land, they were no longer guided by the Khalifatul Masih. And because of that, unfortunately, the group dissolved not much longer after Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu left. But the main and most important thing that we need to see here is that the original foundation and the original goals of the committee had been met. And Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu ta'ala anhu was now to move on to even greater achievements.
And with that, we've come to the end of this episode of Ahmadiyyat, Roots to Branches. In times of crisis, there is no doubt that everyone looks towards a leader, someone who has the fortitude to maintain their composure and soundly lead all those associated out of the conflict which they are facing. Now, when it came to the conflict of Muslims being oppressed in Kashmir, this was yet again the case. And all those at the time, even the non-Ahmadis, resoundingly said that there is only one person who can help this cause and lead towards Muslims being freed in Kashmir, and that was none other than Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. And the belief of these people was rightly so, as it was through the divinely guided leadership of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, that the Muslims of Kashmir were granted their freedom and their rights were reinstated, proving yet another part of the prophecy of Muslim Maud, which is that he will be the means of procuring the release of those held in bondage. So with that, Jazakumullah for watching. Until next time, when by the grace of God, Ahmadiyyat will have branched out even further. Assalamu alaikum.
हर चार सू है शोहरा हुआ कादियान का, हर चार सू है शोहरा हुआ कादियान का, मस्कन है जो के महदिए आखिर ज़मान का, मस्कन है जो के महदिए आखिर